Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So we've got to do some contract creation, more than likely, on our episode here. So the contractor that's been helping me out did get everything moved to customs before I've gotten on today. So we've got oats, sugar beets, carrots, and onions in customs. And the best price in game for oats is about $600. The best price for sugar beets, carrots, and onions is hovering about $130 to $140 per 1,000 liters, which again is typical for root crops. So I'm just coming in here to see what my options are as far as price. So there's a slight increase here if I do direct sell of basically $20 or so, aside from the fact that also I wouldn't need to haul it anywhere else. Well, I mean, it would have to be hauled from customs, but you know, if I was to sell it in game suddenly, I'd have to pull it out of customs and move it. Let me now look at sugar beets. Alright, so 168, so that's not too bad. Carrots. Carrots or onions, I guess let's see what we come across first. They're both right next to each other. So carrots are 176. And let's see, onion. And 166, so similar. Now we need to go to the resource exchange and basically go through the same process. So we're going to find our warehouse. We're going to find Baku, which is our warehouse. And you can see we've got our barley and our oats that I had put contracts out earlier there. So we're definitely going to get those listed as well. So let's see, oats. Spinning, but it's taking a bit of time here. Not sure about the delay. Alright, 744. So once again, I'm still better off sending this here. So I'm going to go ahead right now and place the order for the 440, 242. So I'm going to do a sell order for oats. And 440, 242. And I'm going to do a price per 1,000. I'm going to go with 730. Minimum purchase price of 1. 30-day length. And we'll place the order. Alright. So those now disappear because I've put them on the market. And then let's see. Sugar beets. Alright, 200. So again, it's looking like I'm likely to send things here because I'm just going to be able to get a better price. I'm sorry, not lettuce. Why did I pick lettuce? Onion. There it is. Alright, so onion's not quite at 200, but still, they're all above the direct sell price. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my business quickly here, and then do crop sales. And, whoops, oat. We're going to do send to warehouse. And the quantity we have is 453,339. So we're going to finalize and sell. Then we're going to do sugar beets. Send to warehouse. 321,598. And these root crops have been on my server since I think like year 62. So I've definitely been holding on to them for a long time, just because, once again, there was talk at one point that people would raise pigs on the map, and I thought maybe we might do something there, but at this point everyone's raising cows, so there's no need for these. So if I work them, I just need to do what I'm doing here. So we have 727,000 liters. Oop. Okay, so let's see. 227,293. I forgot we were over 500,000. So we'll do that segment first. Then we'll do 500,000. And then finally, we've got the onion, which is a send to warehouse of 146,676. So I had split field 97, I believe it was, with carrot and sugar beets. And then field 98 was planted with onion when I did the root crops. So that's how I got these quantities. Alright, so that gets us there. Let me go back to the resource exchange in Baku, and obviously I'll have to pick warehouses so that I get a shorter list of my favorites. And then we're going to put out an order for this barley at this point. Alright, so I'm going to do it at, I don't know, we'll do 505. It'll take a little bit longer to sell, so the closer you get to this average price, the likelihood it will fluctuate to the point where it'll keep dropping below your sell price, and then you have to wait some time until the price rises again. So 940, 242, 940, 242, minimum 30 days, do 505, and we're going to do barley, and it's a sell order. So we're going to place the order. Alright, and so at this point, if I go monitor my trades, those are my 2 active trades right now. And what I need to do now is wait until I get to have those contracts fulfilled, and then I'll see them show up here in the warehouse. So if I go to the contract center now, just for those who may not have seen it, if I go to customs exports and filter, and I can search for Hilly, so you can see it appears 5 times, and sometimes when it's creating them it goes a little longer. But so you can see we have Hilly Seneca, and again, because I was the most recent, they're created here, and then someone can click on them and see, 500,000 carrots in custom silos, and then they just need to take them to a sell point. So we're all set there. So I'm going to go ahead and head back here. And let him know. Okay. So that way he does know that he can go look for those if he wants. And then I'm going to jump into the game here, because I've got everything I need done there. And the other work that's going to happen this morning is he did not get around to collecting the hemp bales, and I do think, well, I think I need to turn on my lights so that I know where I'm going after I get out of the light ring of the silo. So let me start there. But I think I'm going to end up filling the hemp storage, and so partially why I was wanting to do that work myself, if I could, was I think there's going to be a point where we hit everything being done, or everything being full and me needing to sell it, because I don't have space for a second storage point, and that's just the reality of it then. You know, I'll have to wait until I sell, replace the sell point, and then start collecting, similar to what we did with cotton, where I ended up with those, I think it was 9 bales or something, that exceeded my capacity the one year I was selling cotton. So, just taking this back to the farm. Everything's got to get repaired, cleaned up, and fueled up, since that hadn't happened from all the deliveries. You know, and sometimes contractors will do that, sometimes they won't. So it just depends, and my guess is, because I did have the truck under the silo, it was full, obviously, with oats ready to go. You know, he did probably the prudent thing, since he hadn't asked if I'd like anything else done, which was to put the truck back where he found it. So, certainly not a bad option, just obviously seeing where we're at. It looks like the trailers are pretty clean, which makes sense because we weren't running them all over the fields. But we do need to get things repaired up, so let me do that. 462 for the tractor, 185 for the main trailer, and then we need to jump in here to get the back trailer into the repair space for the workshop. And the back trailer, $81. So at this point, everything should be maintained as much as it can be. There's a, that sometimes we get hung up on that point. Try it one more time. There we go. Alright, and then I'm going to circle around and put this back in my storage space. It is, I don't know, it just seems like it's really dark today. But I do have my lights on full bore, so this is the best we're going to get. Alright, so we'll get that in here, store that up. Should be able to just drop the trailer. Oh, I guess not, so they may be connected. No, they're not. Is it because maybe I need to have the trailer selected? Yep. Oh, he doesn't use EV, so as we work together, that's going to be a bit of a thing I need to look out for, because obviously he turned that off, where I tend to always just leave it on because I enjoy it and think it's easier to work with it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead at this point and collect things up on 89 because it's closer, and as I said, I think I'm going to fill things, and if that's the case, I'll just leave the everything else laying around. Just trying to find bales, so hold on. Can't talk and think at the same time, and oh, I'm on 88, there's going to be no bales here. I haven't actually gotten far enough. So again, the downsides of doing things in the pre-dawn hours, but this is the time I have to get on, so this is what I'm doing. And once again, I think I've certainly got under 20 bales that I can collect. So, wow. There is something that makes this darker than normal, because I literally can't see that bale very easily behind me. But I've only got the time right now to do this. I mean, I can see it. I just am doing a terrible job of backing up to it. But there it is, very, very close to not being able to tell where it is. So I'm not going to torture you through this process any longer. You know what I'm setting about to do. I'm going to do it. And, you know, once I fill the bale store, I'll come back and we'll talk. Alright, so it's gotten a little brighter. In the process of picking up bales, the farmhand has joined. So we've been chatting quite a bit, just kind of getting to know each other, and I've been explaining kind of how I normally do things on the farm. He's agreed to pick up, finishing up the bales. I'm going to try to stay on the server long enough to get this bale store filled, which looks like it's maybe 8 bales away. And you know, then we'll sell the warehouse and then I'll put down a new one. But there were still bales left on 89. So we'll see how everything goes, but I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to direct sell the hemp or warehouse it. I'm pretty sure I'm warehousing it, but I'm going to go check that, and I'll see you in a bit. Yeah, so I've done a quick check, and I am definitely going to still go ahead and send it to the warehouse. So right now I can get 926. Well, here he is. I'm in his way. But, you know, I can get 926 if I direct sell per 1,000, and it's still slightly over 1,100 otherwise. So let me give him some pointers here. So, anyway. So anyway, yeah, I figured just seeing what he was doing that he didn't realize that, but the way it works, you can just, you know, if you've watched me do the cotton or even the hemp, you just have to drive by the unload point and they just pop out, and then you just have to hit the Y button to unload. So at this point, let me just go verify, because I think he's at 54. Yep. So he's got 3 more loads. He seems to be moving along pretty quickly. I'm going to turn off the tractor, because there's no reason to burn fuel just sitting here. It is 46, but I'll live without the heat. So I will keep waiting here until he finishes that up, and then we'll be back to sell the bale store and move on. Okay, so we're at the point now where we've got a full bale store, or we're going to have a full bale store. Gonna head over. So we're gonna send 60 hemp bales to the warehouse. Gonna finalize and send. I hope this works as I expect, because otherwise I might have just lost a lot of money, but we'll see. You know, the challenge is going to be what it does. Does it really, you know, may take the 1.2 million liters and give me those to sell, or is it somehow going to create something else that then doesn't give me the amount? I mean, I'm assuming it works fine, but at this point it's been done. So once he gets back here, I've kind of already let him know that I was going to put the contract out there and that he can pick that up when he's ready, once he arrives, and then we can go ahead and get things sold. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll get the hemp store. And we'll go from there. I'm going to spin it around all the time. And then obviously place things appropriately. So I just want to make sure I can see, zoom in as it makes sense, align this a little bit better, and the challenge is always, you know, not placing it too far forward, too far back. I think this does it. There we go. Alright, so at this point, crossing my fingers that when I go into the warehouses that I'm going to see lots and lots of... Oh, well, he hasn't finished the contract, so getting too excited. He's taken it, but there's a 10-minute timer or something, so have to wait for that. Let's see, just look at our ledger. So yeah, at this point we've just got the fees for placing the sell orders. So again, we've got the oats and barley basically adding up to 16,000 or so in fees, but that should be made up, relatively quickly. Obviously, 10,000 liters will make us $7,300. So, just selling 10,000 of the 453,000 will more than pay for the fee. So, as long as the price is set well, usually things go pretty quickly. And what I'm typically used to seeing is pretty robust sales, where probably 50% of the order is filled in certainly the first week. I would say it might even be the first 2 or 3 days, just because I think you've got larger quantities, and so at that point the algorithm generates pretty bulky sales. So you're especially on the 940,000 barley, I wouldn't be surprised if we're seeing 35, 50,000, maybe even up to 60,000 sold at a time, which obviously, gets us there pretty quickly, because once again, even at just the 505 on the barley, well, the fee's a little higher, and 10's not going to cover it. 20 will get us to over 10,000, and then basically everything after that is going straight to the bottom line. So we should have, pretty good payday here, and obviously, I'll get things moving, and I'm going to go ahead, and I just realized I haven't set up the contracts. Well, I can't set up the contracts. I haven't set them up for the root crops, because the root crops aren't here yet. So I'm just getting ahead of myself in my head. So rather than continuing to talk, babble, and talk nonsense, I'm going to wrap this up, and we'll consider the hemp complete, other than we know we're going to be selling it. But that will probably appear, maybe in the customs episode as a tie out for that, to let that finish up. And if I've got all the root crops and so forth, I'll obviously include that at that point, because I think at this point the farmhand, it's like his name is Our, but I think it has an M in it, so I don't know that I'd even say it right, but Our would probably be the easiest way to refer to him. But I think Our said, he's going to try to pick up the customs contracts. He just didn't have time to do things right now, but he'd be back later, and he's over in Europe, so, it's afternoon there already for him, so I'm sure he's got to get some work done, and then can pop in later. So I'm sure by the time I maybe check in around lunchtime, I may have some things to do, and I've given him a bunch of other work that he can jump into. So we have to plow those fields that had hemp on them, and it looks like we have to soil sample pretty much all the rest of the farm that we didn't soil sample last year, which makes sense. So there's hours and hours of fun for him there if he wants. So we'll see what he gets done, and when I get in next time, I'll obviously take a look. But yeah, we're kind of at a new dawn on Misty Hills, because it's really the first time I've contemplated and actually taken on some consistent help. So I'm going to see how that changes the dynamic, see if I like it, and we'll go from there. I'll see you next time.